You ever have that feeling where your spoken English is so close to sounding natural, but something's just a little off? Well, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're going to break down 4 really powerful tips that native speakers use all the time, probably without even thinking about it. And the best part? You can start using them right away to make your English sound way more fluent and expressive. Let's jump in. So here's our game plan, our toolkit for today. First up, we're going to unlock a really cool way to express all those complicated feelings. Then, we'll get into how to tell stories that are clearly done and dusted. After that, we'll learn how to build a bridge from the past to right now. And finally, we're going to nail those tricky little quantity words, much, many, once and for all. All right, first up, feelings. We're going to focus on one single, incredibly useful word that does a ton of heavy lifting emotionally, and that word is wish. Seriously, this is like a secret weapon for talking about stuff you want, things you regret, and, situations that are driving you a little bit crazy. I mean, think about it for a second. How do you actually say, in English, that you want reality to be different than it is? Whether you're dreaming about the future, thinking about the past, or just frustrated with right now, well, guess what? That one powerful little word, wish, has got you covered. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. The grammar actually changes based on the feeling you're trying to get across. So for a desire you have right now, you use wish plus the simple past. For a regret about something that's already happened, it's wish plus the past perfect. And for a complaint, you bring in would. Let's see how this works with some real examples. Let's start with a simple desire. I wish I were taller. Now, you're talking about the present, but notice the verb? It's in the past tense, were. It's a little grammar quirk, and yeah, you'll definitely hear people say, I wish I was, but using were is just a little more formal, a little more correct. It's this cool signal that you're talking about a dream, an unreal present. Okay, now for regret. We've all been there, right? You look back and just think, ugh, if only. I wish I hadn't eaten so much chocolate. The key here is the structure, had plus the past participle, eaten. That's the past perfect, and it sends a crystal clear message that you're talking about a past action that you'd love to change. And finally, we've got complaints. I wish my neighbors wouldn't make so much noise. This is the one you use when you're frustrated by someone else's actions and you really want to show that annoyance. You pair wish with would, and it just perfectly captures that feeling of irritation about something that's totally out of your control. All right, let's switch gears. We're moving from internal feelings to talking about external facts. Tip number 2 is all about telling stories that are completely finished. It's about making it 100% clear that the thing you're talking about is over. And to do that, you've got to master the simple past tense. Here's the most important thing to remember. The simple past is for actions that are completely contained. They started in the past and they ended in the past at a really specific time. The story is over, the book is closed. And this is what we mean by a specific time. You can literally picture it like putting a pin on a timeline. It doesn't matter if it was 2 hours ago, yesterday, last week, or way back in 2008. The event is locked into that single, finished moment in time. Now check this out, because it's actually kind of cool how this works. If you say something positive, I worked yesterday, the verb work gets that ed ending to show it's in the past. Easy enough. But for the negative, I didn't work yesterday, something clever happens. The word did takes on the past tense, so the main verb, work, just gets to hang out in its normal form. Did does all the heavy lifting for you. Okay, so what happens when the past isn't really over? What if it has a direct connection to what's happening right now? Well, that's where our third tip comes in. Connecting the past to the present using the present perfect. Think of this tense as a bridge between then and now. And here is the absolute key difference. Look at the simple past. I lived in Lorena for 25 years. The meaning there is totally clear. I don't live there anymore. That chapter of my life is finished. But with the present perfect, I have lived in Sao Paulo since 2005. What does that mean? It means I started in 2005 and I still live there now. The action is ongoing. See the difference? This is also why the present perfect is, well, perfect for talking about life experiences. If I ask you, have you ever been to the United States? I'm not asking for a specific date. I don't care when you went. The only question is this experience part of your life story up to this moment? All right, for our last tip, let's tackle something that trips up pretty much everyone at some point: quantities. How do you talk about amounts with words like much, many, and enough, and just feel confident that you're getting it right? Let's figure it out. So the main rule here is actually super simple. You use many for things you can actually count. One dog, two dogs, one computer, two computers. And you use much for things you can't count, like concepts or liquids, like water or information. You can't say one information, two informations, right? So you have to say much information. It really is that straightforward. And this chart right here is a fantastic little cheat sheet. It lays out not just much and many, but it also shows you how two and enough fit into the whole picture. It helps you say if you have too much of something, not enough, or just the right amount. Now, enough is a little special. It's kind of got its own weird rule about where it goes in a sentence. It always comes after an adjective, like in he is old enough. But it comes before a noun, like in I don't have enough money. Getting that word order right is one of those tiny details that will make your English instantly sound more polished and natural. And just like that, you've got 4 brand new, super powerful tools in your English toolkit. So let's do a lightning-fast recap just to make sure they stick. So, we learned to use wish to put real emotion into our words. We used the simple past to tell stories that are definitely over. We built that all-important bridge from the past to now with the present perfect. And we figured out how to describe amounts with much, many, and that tricky word, enough. So I'm going to leave you with this one final thought. Knowing all this stuff is great, but using it is what actually changes everything. So out of these 4 tools we talked about today, which one are you going to make an effort to use in a real conversation this week? Because that, right there, is where the real magic happens. Thanks for watching.